Alright, today we are going to talk about angle sums of polygons and how to exactly find the angle sums of a polygon. First, let's take a look at a triangle. So when I have this triangle, what is the measure of a triangle? So therefore, what do all the angles of a triangle have to add up to? Hopefully you said 180 degrees. That would be correct. Now let's take a look at a rectangle. So when I have this rectangle, how many triangles can I make? So if I start at a point right here, I should be able to make two triangles. 1, 2. Well, then that would mean I'm going to take 180 and I'm going to multiply that times 2 to give me how much? 360 degrees. So then that means in a rectangle, all of my angles need to add up to 360 degrees. So now if we look at a pentagon, okay, I want to know how many triangles can I make in a pentagon. Hopefully you say 3. So I want to start from one point. So the trick to this whole matter is to start at one point. And it doesn't matter where your point's located on the shape, but then we're going to go to every single corner that we possibly can, unless it is touching. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 triangles inside of a pentagon. So in order to figure out what do all the angles of a pentagon have to add up to, I can take 180 and I can multiply that by 3 to then give me 540 degrees. Let's take a look at this hexagon. Choose one point in the hexagon and draw all the lines to all the other corners of the hexagon. Tell me how many triangles you get. Hopefully, when you do this, it looks like this, and you should come up with 4 triangles. So now, we are going to take 180 and we're going to multiply it by 4 because I have 4 triangles. Remember, all the angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So now, if I take 180 times 4, that's going to give me 720 degrees. Let's take a look at one last shape. So let's take a look at the octagon. How many triangles do you think there are going to be in the octagon? If you start from one point, if you said 6 triangles, you would be correct. So we want to take 180 and multiply it by 6. And that's going to give you 1,080 degrees. Alright, now some of you are probably watching this video and saying to yourself, how am I possibly going to draw a shape for a figure that has 15 sides or even 20 sides? How would I possibly know what do all the angles have to add up to? And you're right. That would be really hard to draw that. So there is an easier way that we can do this. At this point in time, I'd like you to write twins up in your upper left-hand corner of your paper. So let's go back to the triangle. Okay, when we looked at the triangle, we had 3 sides, right? And when we have 3 sides, we only have, that makes 1 triangle. So that's going to make a triangle. Okay, when I look at the rectangle, I have 4 sides, but that's going to make 2 triangles. See if you can develop a pattern between these two. So I have 3 sides, 1 triangle. I have 4 sides, 2 triangles. Okay, let's take a look at the Pentagon. I have 5 sides, and then I have 3 triangles. Have you figured out what the pattern is? Or maybe even a formula? The hexagon has 6 sides, and it makes 4 triangles. Did you figure out the pattern? Go back and look. 5 sides, 3 triangles. 4 sides, 2 triangles. 3 sides, 1 triangle. Now we're at the octagon. 8 sides. And that octagon is going to make 6 triangles. Any idea what that pattern could be, or even a formula that we could use? If you said there's a difference of 2, you would be correct. There's a difference of 2 between the sides and the triangles. So my sides and my triangles. What does that difference mean? Subtract 2. Very good. So we want to subtract 2. Okay, well, what could represent the different number of sides? A variable, n. So we use n minus 2, and then what would be a good number for us to multiply this by? 180, because we're talking about the triangles. Each one of these shapes is making triangles inside of the shape. So it would be really good for us to use the triangle, which is 180 degrees. That's why it was the very first shape that I showed in the video to talk about. So this is your formula that you want to remember and have written down to be able to find all of the angle sums of every single polygon. Alright, let's look at an example of how to use this formula. So let's look at a shape that has 10 sides. So we're going to put 10 in for my variable. So that would be 10 and then minus 2, and that's going to be in parentheses times 180. Okay? Then I'm going to do the parentheses first, so 10 minus 2, which would give me 8. And we're going to multiply that by 180. And then when I multiply that by 180, that gives me 1,440 degrees. So it's really that easy once you can memorize that formula of n minus 2 times 180. Alright, last I would pause the video right here and I would copy down this chart right here, as this would be a good reference for you to use when you're doing your homework to just be able to figure out what the angle sums are of the basic shapes, and you should be able to develop the formula off of this by looking at this. If you have any other questions, please feel free to go back and watch the video.